Hey, good morning, Jim. Good Monday morning, everybody out there. Boy, do we got a show for you today, folks. Listen, on today's episode, we're here with Encrypted Lens. You may know him on X at Recal89, Rekal 89. He is an investigative journalist, a white hat hacker who investigates and exposes the deep state. It's really going to be interesting, the stuff you hear. I'll let him get into the details of who he is and what he does. It's certainly a want to see and listen episode. You are going to be probably mind blown. Really. We've talked to him before off air. He's got a lot of information he wants to share. He's exposing it all, and he's right here with us on the Two Guys, One Coup podcast. Jim, I kind of took your line, but that's what's happening today, folks. Stay tuned for that. We're not going to do a top five today. This show is just going to be all about exposing the deep state. We will be back Wednesday with one of those. We'll tell you what that's going to be. So stay tuned for Encrypted Lens, aka Anomaly, aka at Recal89 on X. On what, Jim? What is this show called that I've already mentioned?
You already mentioned it.
Okay.
Live from the Patriots Prayer Network studios.
It is what?
Two Guys, One Coup.
You say it better, brother. That's all I'm saying.
Lost in the crowd, truth hides deep, bury in the noise. Left hand deals lies, can't stifle the choice. Back rage, flames in the night. No more chains, break free from the fright. Eyes clear now, vision in the dark. We stand up, never bow to the mark. We are the storm, we are the fight. Two guys, one coup, bringing light. No more lies, no more games. Stand tall in truth, break the chains. They spit and scream, push buttons in the dark. Yet we rise, never crumble in the park. Paint our faces with colors bright. March ahead in the dead of night. Shattered dreams won't silence us now. Left and right mix poison in the vow. But we see through, we feel the beat.
Good morning again, America. Let's hear from a word from our sponsor, shopwithamerica.us, and we'll be right back to bring Encrypted up here on stage. You are not going to want to miss this. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Shop with America, where the emphasis is on America. Our movement is to switch away from your shopping with the big box stores and the mega corporations back to supporting family-owned, made in America. We've been giving these big box stores our money every day for years. But what's happened is they've forced many small businesses to shut down. We call this the illusion of choice. We see all these products in these stores, but in reality, it's only a few companies that control it all. There are thousands of lawsuits for health damage because they put profit over our people. But there is another choice. We found a better way. There's a family-owned American factory with product integrity and have always done things the right way for the right reasons. And this company outperforms the big box stores. That's due to their month-to-month shopping club. They make everyday consumer products that we all use and buy again and again, like toothpaste, shampoo, coffee, and organic beef. Go to shopwithamerica.us today.
Yep, go to shopwithamerica.us today. Buy American from an American company. Go check it out. Go sign up. You go through a little bit of process there at the beginning, but then you can shop and get your stuff in bulk. It's an amazing place to actually get those products, and they are all made here in America. So you want to do that.
And
we also have, Jim, real quick.
Those items,
go on.
Those items that you use, daily, get it on a monthly schedule, and you don't have to worry about it. Automatically
comes. You don't have to worry about it at all. We also have a new sponsor. We don't have a commercial or anything for them yet, but it's called goodbrew.com. That's GOODBRU.com. encryptedlens.com. And it's basically a powder you can add to your coffee every morning. And what it is it's a pre-probiotic, basically.
Pre and probiotic, correct.
Yep. And so it's
Helps
go
with
check them
digestive.
out.
Mhm.
Yep, it's for
And
good
use
digestive health.
if I can add that, it's
Yep.
Good Brew, GOODBRU.com/2 guys. Use the code 2 guys and you get 10% off.
10% off. That's right.
But if you have digestive issues, or if you're taking a probiotic already, and
this will
you
help.
want to just look it up,
Mhm.
see what you do. But you put it in your coffee, you put it in whatever drink you have in the morning. You can do 1 to 4 they come with a little cup, measuring cup. So you do 1 to 4 of those, and there you go. I've been doing it for a week now. So
there you go. And I also want to say special good morning to Buckeye, Tarna, M's dad, all of you out there watching and listening. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And Tarna, I hope I do have my coffee. And I hope everyone's drinking
Lock and load coffee. That's right. Do it. Nice shirt, Jim. By the way, okay, so let's get on to this. We've got a long show today, and we want to make sure we get all the information in. Real quick before we bring them up. Again, we're here with Encrypted Lens. You might know him on X as @Recal89. That's REKAL89. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen. He's a no-nonsense investigative journalist and white hat hacker. He'll explain what that is, who's been tearing the mask off the deep state. One digital footprint at a time. From shady government ops to corporate surveillance and media psyops, Encrypted Lens pulls no punches and brings the heat. If you're tired of the lies, like we all are, and ready for the truth, I'm telling you, this is the person you're going to want to listen to. Let's put that up to real. Thank you again, Buckeye @Recal89. If you're not following on X, please go do that. Last one, goodbrew.com. Right on the ball, Buckeye. Thank you so much for that. Jim, let's bring up Encrypted Lens. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up? So obviously, before we get started, if you're watching, he wants to be anonymous, as far as his visual and his appearance. And there's a reason, and you're going to hear them all today. There's a reason why he's staying kind of incognito there. If you follow him on X, you'd see everything that he posts, and he also cross posts with other people on there, like Texas Patriot. It's really incredible stuff. Do we call you Encrypted, Anomaly, Recal? What do you want to be called?
Yeah, I mean, y'all can call me either. Recall is just like I put that as my tag name through X because I like the Recall movies. I saw it when I was a kid. I saw the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, and then the later version one. But no, y'all can call me Encrypted Lenses is something that my buddies gave me when I would be out in the field, like catching like pedophiles or like going and doing my investigation, like my stuff out in the field. But Anomaly is just that's my I guess that's what you could call my like hacker name. Everybody called me Anomaly. I kind of just stayed to myself. But I'll tell you something. Like, I guess we'll just jump right in it, right?
Yeah, let's just jump right in it. Let's just do it.
All right, perfect. Let's see here. I'll tell you a little bit of stuff that I do. Of course, everybody knows that I'm an investigative journalist. I kind of dive deep. This whole sex trafficking that I like, that's my main job, is to catch predators, like, go into their websites, track everything down, go, like, we call it the hive. We just don't go after like, that one person. We go after everyone that's linked to that, to whatever. So
you go deeper before we, I don't mean to interrupt, but just real quick, because, we see it a lot where there's, pedophile in your neighborhood or someone like that. Somebody's got child porn, or he's absolutely I don't know, some pedophile that's been hitting on minors and all that. It's not that person, right? You are going deeper into, okay, where'd that child porn come from? Where's the sex trafficking come? You're going deeper than that, right?
Oh yeah. We won't even really mess with him. I just want to see where he's at, like what he's doing, who he's talking to. I gather all the emails. I gather as much data as I can. And of course I let, like whoever back, I call it like, so say if I'm in, I don't know, Oregon, and there's a guy we call him Rabbits. And, if I'm going after him, I let local law enforcement know. I go down to the point where I find if there is fiber on that block. I'll go to I'll go to his like whatever company he's using for Wi-Fi, or whatever he's doing, and I penetrated through there. But some of the stuff that I do, like in my field, and the reason why I was recruited is because like I was a cybersecurity analyst, ethical hacker, security researcher, vulnerability researcher, penetration tester, incident response specialist, information assurance specialist, cyber operations specialist, I worked with cyber defense, offensive cyber operations, intelligence gathering, vulnerability exploitations. Like I go in pretty deep. I just don't want one person. I want the whole network. I want to grab everyone.
The difference between the white hacker and the black hackers, the white hacker you basically hack in a good way for good, right? And then the black hackers are not the ones. They're the deep ones that get all the information and sell it and all that good stuff, correct?
Oh yeah. So like the ones that I go after, well, it's really like if you're a good hacker, in this community, I don't really trust too many of them. Really, I actually only ones that I've trusted is the ones that I grew up with. I'm going on 36 now, and it was a group of us that were recruited. We were 13, 14 years old. And those some of the main guys that are on my team are the same from my hometown. We've all that I always listen to my soul, like that weird feeling in your stomach when you get it, when you get introduced to someone, what they're about or what they're doing. But there is some really good hackers that are really bad. And I'm glad that y'all invited me to this show, because I can those are the ones that work for DARPA, like the military industrial complex. Those are the guys that are like real. I guess we're gonna jump in, but in my opinion, a lot of these plane crashes are happening because of the military industrial complex. I don't think it's.
How expand on that then? Yeah, it's
so
weird, right?
Yeah, it is weird, but it's not like if you see and this is stuff that y'all can research. Like, of course, nobody really know. Like, people know me on X. They started to find out who I was because I started giving out information to like Texas Patriot and things like that before it even happened.
Yeah,
this was already stuff that was already being talked about in the community. And I kind of just started like whistleblowing and throwing stuff out there. And like with the military industrial complex, like people think of like hacking a plane would be impossible, and it's really not. I'm just going to read what I said. So the way we have to do this is playing in the gray area. If I'm going to do anything like leak out stuff or because it is out there. I got into trouble not too long ago because I feel like how can I say this? So, when you're going to say something, you always want to play I'm going to read this as if, how can I say it? I'm going to read what I told Texas Patriot, basically.
Okay.
So this is talking about like black ops, just different contractors with the military industrial complex. Someone had asked me, do they have the hacking skills to cause plane crashes? And I said, yes, absolutely. The military industrial complex, particularly black ops sectors and affiliated contractors, have some of the most elite hackers and engineers on the planet. We're talking about the people with access to zero-day exploits, electromagnetic warfare capabilities, spoofing tools, and advanced drone tech. This isn't keyboard warriors in basements. It's ex-NSA, DARPA level minds. If they wanted to remotely compromise a plane's avionics or spoof GPS systems, which modern aircraft heavily rely on, they could. There have been numerous unexplained crashes, and several investigators have hinted at cyber vulnerabilities in systems like ARS, Aircraft Communication Addressing and Reporting System. Now, and a lot of people, like with the FFA, I don't know if y'all knew this, but like the FFA have they literally, the FAA and DoD have a long-standing relationship with them. Like that's something that
Yeah.
that I don't know if people knew about that, but like
Yeah,
with those
no.
drones in the air,
Yeah.
those were the reason why the government was saying that they weren't theirs is because military industrial complex doesn't work underneath them. It's not like they're their own entity, so they can
Mhm.
pretty much do whatever they want. Let's see here.
So real quick, just to back up just a hair, because we got a question from one of our listeners that it was intriguing, and I want to make sure we get through this. This is Buckeye put up there. What does he mean by trouble? When you said you got in trouble, what kind of can you expand on that? Are you able to tell us were you contacted by people, or what happens to you?
Oh no! So in my briefing, we just don't like. I've seen it in the past where, of course they get onto you, but like right now they don't really want to be talking about like the whole sex trafficking that's leading up to all these NGOs and all these like the Obama Foundation, even goes down to like the Bill Gates, like they don't like to be talking like that because like I guess it causes people to go crazy, but I feel like it won't cause people to go crazy because they also told me not to talk about like the whole, like all 140 crashes that are happening in these past couple of months. And what is insane is that planes just don't fall out the air,
Right.
and they don't want people knowing that planes can be hijacked.
Okay, so during the Biden administration, when it initially came, they had some incidences with planes as well. It's not, you need to go back and look, but also the rail industry. So, and now President Trump takes over, and now we're having plane issues again. Why would they do this? What would be the point of hacking planes? What do you feel the reason that they would be doing this?
Oh, well, President Trump like screwed them all up. Like that would like him taking down the USAID and then.
So this is an attack against Trump.
Oh, big time. Yeah. This is a flex saying,
Okay.
hey, you keep fucking with this. It's gonna get even dirtier because like, for one, they have, how can I, like, they don't run by anything so I don't know if y'all noticed when I attacked Soros. So Soros is like one of their big funders too. You look at it.
Yeah.
Soros is, and then now his son's taking over it, which I'll be coming out with a piece on his son. But
good.
Yeah, like so Trump came in, they didn't like that. They don't like that they came like so with these whole wars, he wants to stop them. And if you like it, this is just a flex showing him that if he continues doing it, where he like, because I want to jump to something which is crazy. So did y'all know in 9/11, like the planes were not controlled by a pilot? Did y'all know that?
Okay. So there sure has been a lot of 9/11 stuff, and Jim and I have questioned, exactly what happened. How did those buildings fall? We never truly were on board with, they were just hijackers. Something obviously is up there. I think we all know that at this point, but we don't know the depths that you're probably about to tell us. So no, I did not know that they weren't piloted.
So yeah, that was they were not piloted. They were actually, I'm trying to pull up my notes right now. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
No, they were not piloted. They found like even a lot of pilots, like high level pilots, were even saying that the maneuvers those planes were taking, there was no way a person could have done that. There's just no way.
It seemed odd.
Yeah, very. And that was all through like the military industrial complex. Like right before that happened, there was trillions of dollars that just went missing out of nowhere.
And depending
that's something
correct.
Yeah. And that's their payment. That was like their payment to continue doing like what they needed to do.
So
now
wait,
it's probably going to make a lot of.
Yeah, go ahead. No, let you finish.
No, it's going to make a lot of
my questions.
Yeah. Oh no, tell me.
No. So
well, is this what? Because we're hearing they're going to release some 9/11 stuff too. So is this part of what we're going to hear? Or they're going to keep this away? They're going to keep this out.
Okay, so this goes down. this goes down pretty deep. I doubt that they'll ever announce this, but they will, because now, like, I mean, it's information you can look up. It's just like
Mhm.
a lot of people don't want to look at it. But the whole 9/11 was just, in my opinion, that had to do with Bush. Of course, Osama bin Laden. A lot of people don't know that the Bush family was pretty close to the Osama bin Laden family. That they pretty much made that guy through the CIA.
Yeah.
And it kind of pissed him off. He went kind of crazy, and then he started,
Because he was an informant for them, wasn't he?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, so they created a mess over there at the Middle East. It was that's something, because if you look at it, Halliburton and Bush and all them, that was like that's a big oil thing that's going on, like, and they wanted that, and and so they, like, I'm probably gonna get in trouble, but oh well. So this was definitely, I hate to say, because it's something that I started working on when I was young, around 15 years old is when I started, like, really diving into this. And so the first thing that I actually found as a kid, at 15, I started freaking out, because I was like, well, who am I really, what I'm saying? Like, when you're a kid that gets pulled out of your house and they say, hey, how did you deface Hastings? How did you deface Blockbuster? And I tell them, and then they see what I can do, and they teach me a bunch of stuff. But then you think that we're working, like, war is not something that I, like, want anybody to see. Like, that's something that, like, needs to be stopped. There was a lot of shit that we shouldn't have even been over there. This was a like our government during that time, like, but, like, I don't know if your people that are watching or support you, if they're going to get mad at you for this, but, like, this was all like a Bush plan, CIA plan, FBI plan. There was a lot of stuff that was already, like, could have been told.
Are you saying that the Bush and the Bush administration knew 9/11 was going to happen?
Oh yeah, they knew it was going to happen.
And knew it was going to happen on that day.
Yeah, they knew everything was going to happen. It was a plan. This was something that, like, during the time that we, when we were, like, I was 13, or how old was I? I was young. I was like 11, 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
Later on, when I was 15, I found out that this was an actual, like, plan, that what they were going to do. And the first thing that I found, I wanted to see the pilots, because, like, if you look at the maneuvers in the sky, like, there was no way a plane can actually whip like that or do anything the way that was doing. And one of the hijackers that I was able to see, or not hijackers, one of the pilots, like, I can't give you the name, but he said no hijacker flying a 767 for the first time could have pulled that off.
Yeah.
It was either a remote system or a professional pilot, not what we were told. And that comes from a former commercial pilot that was supposed to be flying that plane. And he's used to use. He was gonna do it, and something happened. I forgot what had happened. And he was saying in his report, the cockpit data indicates no one at the controls. The flight data records that were recorded or partially analyzed showed no struggle in the cockpits. Remember how they said that they would?
They rushed the cockpits. That's why. None of that shit.
None of that shit was true. No.
So what did
there's evidence out there that warrants this, right? Because we're going to have people out there that are saying, because we've heard, we've heard conspiracy theories, we've heard all this stuff, but there's actually now the fact that you have a pilot that was supposed to fly it that admitted what he found. I'm pretty comfortable with that. But there's, and
I'll send you all this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you all my notes and everything, and then that way y'all can look it up. And then I tell that to everybody, do y'all's due diligence. But this was a war about oil control. Like, everybody hears how, like, Israel, like they said, Israel is the one that like, did the whole 9/11. They're part of it, and that's why I say I don't like the Israeli government. but I do like the Israeli people. I don't think nobody should die on each side of the war. Like there's just too many kids that are getting trafficked or killed and things like that. But
correct.
you gotta think though, Israel, they're the ones who created Pegasus. You know,
So we haven't gone into that yet. It's an interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting transition, because that was around prior to 9/11, even correct? Pegasus.
Yeah. That's been around for years.
Mhm.
But the real quick before I dive in there,
No,
I wanted like the captains, they were even saying that there was no communication, like there was no communication saying it was being override or anything like that. And then like it just got silent. Nobody was saying anything. They thought that the remote override was engaged, and it kind of like went into like autopilot. But yeah, they were just doing it. But during that time, they were, hold on. Okay, so Hani, I can't really pronounce his name, but Hani Anjor, whatever, the supposed pilot that flew Flight 77, he failed the basic flight school evaluation. I don't know if y'all know that. The one that
I did not know that.
No, did not.
Yeah, so there was no way he could even get that damn thing off the ground. Even
These people were on the planes, though.
Yeah, and they said that he was the one that flew the plane. But he, how can I say, like, unless you're really highly trained, you knew what you were doing. But like, there was nobody in the cockpits or anything like that. So that's why they're saying it was like it was hacking situation, and we already knew that DARPA and all them guys were already like working on that type of stuff. And I'll send you all the stuff that I have.
Okay, because people are like, I'd love to see the notes he's talking about, and you'll send them. You're not.
I have them all.
Yep.
Yeah, I just sent I sent Texas Patriot everything as well. Like there's only certain people that I send stuff to.
Yeah.
And I tell y'all to do y'all's due diligence, but like the Bush family, they had some strong ties with the Bin Ladens, you know, and a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, somebody put up here that George Bush flew the Bin Laden family out of the country just days before the attack. Is that true as well?
Oh yeah, that is very much true. So George H.W. Bush Sr. had business relationships with Bin Laden family through the Carlyle Group and stuff, powerful defense investment firm.
Oh, okay.
On the morning of 9/11, Bush Sr. was at a I can't really pronounce, Carlyle meeting with SHAFIQ Bin Laden, Osama's half brother, which is really weird, you know. If you're having all these, like, you know, if you're having problems with them, it's like, why would you be having a meeting with them, you know? And after 9/11, when U.S. airspace was shut down, the only plane allowed to fly was the one extracting Bin Laden's family members out of the U.S. That was another weird. That's one that I found as well.
So the famous scene of George Bush sitting in the elementary school classroom, and why can't I remember his name, that walked up and told him, you know, or said something to him. We don't really even know. That was no surprise to George W. Bush.
Yeah, no, and he, if you noticed, you can look at this, like if you were a president, you would be going crazy if your country was
probably would have got up right away, right?
Yeah,
he was way calm. He stayed in Florida. He stayed in a Florida classroom for 7+ minutes after being told America is under attack.
Yep.
There was no urgency, no panic. Multiple protocols were broken that day. Nobody at relocation, no military escort, and he remained fine. Now the 9/11, when that happened, Patriot Act was passed. Wars in the Middle East began, and billions funneled into the military contracts and surveillance.
Okay, so that's what this whole point was for, is to start a war in the Middle East so people can get wealthy. That's pretty much what, because that's the only thing I can see how you would sacrifice thousands of American citizens. And there had to be a reason if this was conducted by deep state.
Mhm.
And it's
and see,
sick and disgusting.
Oh yeah, and then Bush he fought hard against creating the 9/11 Commission.
Mhm.
When forced to testify, he refused to do it under oath and only did so behind the doors with Dick Cheney next to him. No recording, no transcript,
remember.
and no
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
That
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This. Oh man. I
Wow.
guess when a lot of us saw the initial reaction, when Moore came out and said, this and that, when Michael Moore did his thing, but we all wanted to just think he was keeping calm, right? Because that's what they said. We're just keeping calm because he doesn't want to panic the kids and everything else. So we believed that.
Mhm.
And then after we take a breath and we see what's going on, and we see all these other things coming out. I'll be honest with you, I never really looked into a lot of this stuff.
Mhm.
But I'm hearing more and more and more about it because I'm one of those people that's like, well, there's conspiracy theories out there. We didn't land on the moon. We didn't do this. We didn't do
Mhm.
that. So I want to be careful when we get into that because I don't want to be that guy, I don't want to be that
Yeah.
guy. But with everything I'm seeing, this is making sense. And you're scaring me again. That's just
Well, but Jim, the question I kind of want to translate to here is that, we were talking about how the planes were controlled and how that relates to today or
Yeah.
how many years. I mean, I don't know if all of them have been that way, but at least what's going on today is that the plane crashes, and let's specifically, we have a Black Hawk helicopter that, crashes into American Airlines flight over DC. Was that a situation like that, or is that just are accidents happening in general? Because they will. It's a mechanical device. Accidents can happen, but you're saying this is more and more being controlled by the industrial military complex. These flights and these crashes.
Oh yeah, like I know they are, and if anybody that can see, like, because we didn't have, why weren't these planes going down a couple of years ago or during COVID? Or
Yeah, it's been a while.
Pre-COVID. Yeah, we haven't really had that many, like, kind of like just go down out of nowhere, And I'm trying to pull up my notes real quick because I wanted to give y'all some terms real quick that y'all can look at.
Well, go ahead and do that.
But,
We're gonna hear from one of our sponsors real quick. So get your notes together. It'll be a minute, and we'll come back, and then we've got so much more to talk about. This is absolutely incredible anomaly. So thank you so much for sharing it with us and our audience, folks. Grit Gear, Lock and Load. We'll hear from them. We'll be right back.
Grit is defined as firmness of character, unyielding courage in the face of hardship or danger. At Grit Gear Apparel, we honor all military, police, fire, public service, and patriotic Americans, both men and women regardless of color, creed, or religion. Our brand represents the love and freedom for our country, the heroism of all our men and women, and the principles of what this wonderful country was built on. Our goal is to regenerate the sense of patriotism and to spark the American pride within us, to stand together in the toughest times and become victorious, to preserve all our freedoms, to honor our flag, and to respect the men and women who have fought and died for us to have these freedoms. Wear our brand with pride, with a sense of patriotism, and as a statement for the love of our country. Whether you're military, public official, or civilian, our brand is for you. Together we stand as Americans.
We do stand as Americans together, and you can do that at gritgearapparel.com. Thank you, Buckeye and Jim, and lockandloadcoffee.com. Please remember to use coupon code 2GUYS and get 10% off your entire order. Please go support them. Please. Good America First, small, family-owned and operated patriots. You're helping them. It's worth it. Trust me. Now, I said in there, we stand as Americans.
I want to play something real quick, Dale, from a listener.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I feel you, M's dad. This is all very interesting. I can't help but be a bit skeptical, though. Anyone else feel this way? Anomaly, you're it's nothing against it. We just have to. This is a lot. All right. This is actually another comment listener up there mentioned treason. I mean, this is if there was a definition of treason, right here it is. And so that's why there's a lot of people I feel that are like, but I trust what you're doing because you have all this information, you're having it. So now I guess what we need to do is what can we do to help the listeners? to understand and stuff like that. Because
and let's not forget, Jim, that we also have had developed this relationship over a little bit of time off air with Anomaly, and there are things we cannot say and will not say, and he cannot say and will not say, but there's irrefutable proof on his end that these things are happening. I understand the skepticism. Nobody wants to think that the United States government is killing their own citizens for money, not just for money. That's what it's all about. Follow the money. I put it past. I do not put it past them to do all of this. I am fully on board that this is happening. And it's because of people like you, Anomaly, and that are bringing this stuff to the forefront, and really your work, because you're the one that's doing it more than anybody else we've seen out there. So yeah, go ahead, Anomaly. What do you got for us? You were looking at some notes before the break. Tell us what you got.
So no, people being skeptical and stuff like that. I totally understand, because it is way out there. There's a lot of stuff that I'm about to say that's way out there, but it's all, you can research it. It's coming out now. Will Bush ever go to prison? Probably not. Ever. The dude's in the trillions right now. What Halliburton made, that was billions of money. They were supposed to help out Afghanistan and kind of rebuild everything. They didn't. There was a lot of sex trafficking going on that got tied back to them. But yeah, for people to not I just wanted y'all to know, so DARPA and NSA, DARPA has been developed advanced autonomous systems, cyber warfare tools, and remote override technologies for decades. A lot of people didn't even know that. These guys, these guys are very, very scary. And NSA has the means to infiltrate nearly any digital system. That means they can, whatever they want to hack into, they got it. Especially, and then the ADS-B, which is used in aviation, they can do the same thing. Modern aircraft are highly computerized, and some are even connected to via SATCOM or Wi-Fi based diagnostics, which opens up attack surfaces. Now, we have a grid. We have a huge grid, everywhere in the United States. So if they wanted to get into anybody's Wi-Fi or anybody's device, they can do it.
100% believe it.
Okay, so DARPA has, here it is, the other note that I had. So DARPA, and this is something that y'all can look up too, DARPA has admitted to simulating cyber attacks on aircraft to test vulnerabilities. The CIA was caught via WikiLeaks. Vault 7 leaks have tools that mimic foreign attacks, meaning attributions can be faked. There have been undeniable black op historically, like Operation Northwoods, where plans were drawn up to fake or cause real incidents for political leverage.
And so in narrowing that down, they've had the technology to, I guess, remote into aircraft, be it whatever that aircraft is, to control it, to bring it down and or steer it in a direction they want or what have you. Is that?
Yeah, and it also can mess up their flight plan. So you know how these, that one crash that clipped another plane or something like that?
Yeah.
It can interrupt that type of stuff. They can make it, you don't ever so you have eyes in the sky, and you also have eyes at a computer, where they're showing air traffic, making sure each other. So how can that happen if we're supposed to be advanced in aviation? You know what I'm saying? We have some of the best trained pilots. And how can that happen? How can you clip another wing when that's very rare? If
and it's happened a couple times already this year.
Yeah, and it's never happened in the past, and we didn't have the technology like we did now back then. Nothing ever happened like that. But I think there was only plane crashes when a pilot wanted to do it, when they were kind of crazy. But no, this is something that the military, a lot of people just don't understand. The military industrial complex, during 9/11, they created a bunch of stuff. They also created a bunch of monsters in the Middle East, and you know, like this whole plan was already like with 9/11. They already knew what was going to happen, and how they like to draw up a plan like this, and you know they like find all these like bombs inside, you know, like where they started collapsing the World Trade Center, and then the center that was right behind them, like you know that was all out there saying that you know that was an insurance thing. But a lot of this stuff people don't understand that you know. It's very like, you know, it's when you start seeing planes fall out the sky, or like, you know, you start seeing drones over the, you know, over by DC or in Jersey, and they're, you know, they're very quiet. They're not like a regular DJI drone.
Yeah.
It starts like, okay, you know, someone's flexing. And if it wasn't any other foreign country.
So are we to believe what they were telling us, that it is ours because there was supposedly some uranium that was missing, came up missing from it, because that's what we ended up hearing is what they were actually looking for. Can you confirm or not if that's true?
I'm pretty sure that's a flex on the military industrial complex, because they did find a if you, and this is some more research I can do, like it's all, I believe they put it on YouTube already, but like they found where some of these drones were coming out of the water, and they were saying that it was like when every time they would ask like you know, like if you've seen the interviews when they were asking the government, they're like, hey, do you think that are these ours? And they would say no. And they are not the US's. They are the military industrial complex. The only reason why they did that was just to flex on people.
And so who is the military industrial complex?
So
who are these people?
I'll name them off for you. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I had that up.
No, take your time.
It's DARPA's one of them. You got Raytheon. You got Lockheed.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out. There was another one that people don't really talk about.
Would Boeing be in there too, or no?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Okay, you ready? Sorry.
Yep.
So it's Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing Defense, BlackRock Investments tied to weapons, CIA ops overseas. So like those are the ones that are in it. Did y'all ever see where like Bush, when Bush was part of the CIA and stuff like that?
Bush Senior.
Yeah.
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 He was like he was the one that was pretty much running it. Like
when JFK got shot, he was running it.
Yeah. And this goes back all the way to that. It goes back to even further than that. Like so AI is, so say if they were, how can I say, so the one thing that the military industrial complex.
Hey, Anomaly, can you get a little closer to your mic or something? I know you're looking at other stuff while you're doing it. Just.
Okay. Sorry. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Just making sure everyone can hear you.
So back then, the one thing that the military industrial complex did do is crack the AI part. And I keep on thinking because did you like, how like this last with Israel and Palestine war, did you see how like there was a bunch of fake propaganda that was happening?
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
To push fake propaganda like that and to have those type of photos surface, which was they did look real, but if you look at the digits, you can tell if you know what fake propaganda is and like fake images and dealt with it all your life, then you know how to get them. But like if a person that has never really, how can I say, there's a lot of people that don't know how to read that stuff. They kind of look at a photo and they're just like, oh, they just jumped the gun instead of like doing the due diligence and like looking at everything. So that's something that the military industrial complex had. Like they knew how to like control the media and like, use and if like remember all the money that was getting sent to, the Taliban, when we found like the Doge found out that, it was like 29 million or so. And then Sarah Adams came out and it was saying like billions at one point. A lot of that money went to them fueling that war. I mean, that's just how they like, and like, that's the reason why, like, I kind of like, I say I don't like Israel or anything like I don't like Israel's government because they had the technologies to kind of stop all this. But, you know, like they had Pegasus and a lot, but it kind of, and Pegasus is something we can talk about a little later, but that was like a software that, you know, they use like till this day, you know, on people. But I think like military industrial complex is pretty damn powerful just to keep a war going by AI, like you know.
Do we have a Pegasus system here in the United States? Or do we use that system?
We have a lot of systems. We have like Promise, which was another one. I feel I suggest for all y'all to watch a show on Netflix. It goes deep and it has nothing. I'm surprised Netflix hasn't taken it down or someone hasn't scared them, but it's called the Octopus Murders.
Okay.
And that's something that talks about all that stuff in there. It even talks about JFK, how they even altered the film back then. Back then, we didn't have Photoshop or any type of After Effects or Premiere Pro, and they made the film look like, you know, I got to see the actual one of the actual videos, and it's insane. Yeah, the only reason why we were able to catch it is because the trees coming out of the wall. They didn't. And we saw, and I was just like, how did, you know, old school camera like that? It's like they were already like altering stuff. So, you know, we didn't get to see that until later. I mean, people do it on Photoshop now, or like, you know, masking through After Effects and, you know, Premiere Pro, but you can ask any graphic design out there that just, it hasn't been around for many years, especially during JFK. That shouldn't have, that's a software that should have even like manipulating photos or videos. That's crazy that they had it back then. And, but yeah, like the military industrial complex, like the reason why I'm saying it is, they are doing it because I mean, they're the only ones that had that. They're the ones that had that technology, and they were like, you know, kind of, you know, messing with it for decades. And
are they all connected? DARPA, Raytheon, Lockheed, Boeing, BlackRock, are they all
in cases
connected
like
or
this,
controlled?
Yeah, they're all. I mean, they all get their money from, you know, Soros, like Rockefeller, and all them guys. They all get it from them. But in situations like this, they come together just because Trump is the one that's kind of like messing with everything. He's the one that like nobody right now likes at all. They're the one like, and that's why there's, you know, when I was telling you about like the shooting that happened over there. Okay, so real quick, backtrack. So the architects of 9/11, I did this thing and they kind of took it down. And that's when I kind of knew I was stepping on some feet. But basically, the architects of 9/11, it shows shadow government, which is the intel ops, and then right underneath it's Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, Paul Wolfowitz, and then you have PNAC in the middle, and then Bush as the face, and then underneath them is oil contracts, defense firms, and 9/11 events. Okay. So that's the ones those were the names that were part of the whole 9/11 plan, I guess.
Wow.
So is Trump going to survive the next 4 years?
Oh yeah. I highly doubt they're going to try to pull that move again. You know, I don't think that they're going to kill him or anything like that. The one, even if they did, I think he's already infiltrated. Like he brought in on like Elon Musk, one of the most like brightest minds there is. And he's not controlled by anyone either. And what military industrial complex, they're scared of him because, I mean, look what he just did with Doge. You know what I'm saying? Like he took all that money that was like kind of like going, that was just to filter the military industrial complex.
Money laundering. That's all that was.
See, what we did on this is, and I'm glad you're pointing this out, because a lot of times we want to go with what the left has been doing. Right. We want to know what the left has been doing, and then some of us aren't thinking about what the military industrial complex is doing, what this money that Doge is finding. It's not just the Democrats that are responsible for this. It's right. I mean, they're trying to play us against each other. They always have. That's why you see people out doing what they're doing, and we always argue with one another and everything else while they're doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting that you say that, because that's the first thing we go to, right, Dale? We go
Mm-hmm.
to, oh man, they found all this waste, all this money laundering that's coming back to Democrats and some
Mm-hmm.
Republicans. But now it's kind of a little bit more, we got to look into this a little bit more with what we talked about.
Yeah,
tonight
I mean
with
it's bigger. It's a uniparty almost. Like is that correct, Anomaly? I mean, you're talking about Democrats, Republicans, pretty much a lot of. I mean, I guess if you follow the money, you'll find out who's getting it all, and we all kind of know kickbacks that people like McConnell or Lindsey Graham have gotten, or anything like that on the right side. They're all connected, and they're all controlled by their pocketbook, which leads them to obviously why this Ukraine war is still going on and all that. I mean, there's just so many kickbacks going on. Dude, when Jim asked, will Trump survive? He almost didn't. We haven't gone there yet or not, but we all know the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting. We all know that was not just one single guy involved in that. But it all stems back to Ukraine and BlackRock on that end of it. So are they not powerful enough to try it again, or they just won't, is what you're saying?
No, I think they screwed up twice, but that first one that when they were in like Pennsylvania,
yeah,
that kid, I mean, if you see the names on we'll probably never get the data from the phone that's already been taken, but we all heard how like they kind of raided his home and there was phones, and now Fannie Willis is on there, and then that governor, or was it what is he a governor, the one that his house caught on fire?
Shapiro just now? Yeah, he's governor of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So what's weird with him is that there was a whistleblower saying that he was part of that whole
correct
that thing, and now all of a sudden his house burns down.
By a so-called socialist who was upset because he was taking his house because he was behind in payments or something. I just saw that.
Yeah,
we don't know. I don't
crazy.
know that we'll get the whole story. Maybe you will, Anomaly, but we might not.
Yeah, and it's what's crazy is we like I know a lot of like the guys that were waiting for a green light, they were told to stand down like on that. They weren't going to go in and try to recover any type of data or anything. I don't know how bad the fire was. Like I don't wish a fire on anyone, but a lot of these people are coming out, and I feel like even if you have a fire or your house burns down, you still got to be. I mean, you're the one who got. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a whistleblower on that person. Why hasn't he? Been investigated. There was no warrant or anything like that. And all of a sudden, this just pops out of nowhere. And then the whole Fannie Willis thing. But there was two shooters there. I mean, everybody knew that. Like, there's like a lot of investigators that did this. They found that it was over by the water tower. He was on top of the water tower. There was several people in the crowd saying that there was someone on the water tower, and then a lot of the snipers were like, "That's not our guy. We don't know who that is." Why would they even be speaking? I would like if you're a trained sniper, which the president's supposed to have like the elite of the elite when it comes to snipers. They're supposed to have already made sure nobody is like the way they even kind of like map the whole area. They should have had snipers everywhere, and that was just a poor job.
This is a man who tried to kill a potential president at the time, now president of the United States, and it's gone cold. We've not heard any. This is the strangest damn thing that it's like everything's done. This is what the kid was. We have no idea what his motives were, but here it is. Here we go. And I'm sorry. I'm a little
bullshit. It's all bullshit.
This is what's causing skepticism, which is why I believe everything you're telling me about this now, because why haven't we heard about this guy? I mean, here's this young kid that was able to sneak up onto a roof where a once president and soon to be future president was speaking. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And like there's people that were on YouTube and all like that did this investigation as well. They kind of went down that hole, and they showed where he interviewed a lot of them. So I want people to do their due diligence with them, what I'm about to say. But yeah, there was two shooters there. The kid, I don't know. I don't think he was supposed to shoot. The person that was behind him or on that water tower was supposed to shoot. And that's where it kind of like raised his ear and stuff. So I think that, it fell pretty quick, but when cases go cold like this, just like the 9/11 thing went cold, now this one's going cold, and all of a sudden, like this governor, his house burns down. Fannie Willis, we haven't even heard anything about that. BlackRock,
Yeah, the governor's mansion, not his personal residence. Somebody commented on it.
It's the governor's mansion.
Yeah, the governor's mansion. Right. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah,
and like every time this happens, it always has to be to deal with like the military industrial complex, because they don't. If you were to do something like because they showed where BlackRock had this guy, this young kid or whatever, in a couple of commercials already. Yeah, they just dropped another one, and they didn't even care about it. And so, but right now, Trump is pissed off. Let me tell you, like, so I found 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 big names that Trump has pissed off, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, they're the only ones that can work up the money for the military industrial complex. If you look at the transaction, which was $1 trillion, right? It was like over $1 trillion or something like that before 9/11. Yep. So the families that Trump has pissed off is the Rothschild family, which controls the banking dynasty, early funders of war, creators of central banks worldwide. Rockefeller family, which is the oil. That's something that has to do with Bush and all, Halliburton and all them. But it's oil, pharmaceuticals, education. The House of Saud, which is the billionaire oil family tied to the U.S. weapon deals and the 9/11 back channels. And then George Soros. He funds all the global revolutions, media, and progressive destabilizations through NGOs. He pissed off every one of these guys, and coming in because he's stopping everything. And so say if you, how can I put this way? So say if you came to me and said, hey man, I need to do a plan, but I want everything to be non-traceable. So this is what you do. Like you would go straight to they don't like the military industrial complex. When things go cold or go dark and you can't really find anything, is because they wiped shit out already. Those plans were, and then 9/11, I guarantee we're not going to see a lot of this stuff through 9/11. Agreed. Just because it has to do with oil and George W. Bush and the House of Saud and like a lot of other stuff. But I just don't understand, the biggest thing that tells me that it was the military industrial complex and other people, of course, that were drawing this plan up to kill him. It's like, if y'all were 2 snipers, what would y'all do if y'all saw a big water tower?
Yeah. That's my point of view right there. That's my best option.
And then the other thing is, would y'all even allow the cops to be standing around, or would y'all even allow a kid to be on a roof when they saw it clearly? The cops let that kid up there. They saw they even had the damn ladder. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They even had a rope coming down from the water tower, and there was a vehicle back there. It wasn't, the vehicle didn't belong to no other agent or no other security or anything like that.
Did that trickle down all the way to local law enforcement there in Butler, Pennsylvania?
It did, but they were told that not to say anything. Like they're like a lot of if you call down there, anybody can call down there. They won't even give you any type of information. Yeah, they're not allowed to say anything. And nobody's ever brought anything out. Like I think that's a small town to the point where like they're easily scared. You can literally say something to them and they're not going to do it. They're not going to say anything that they saw, or they're not going to be a witness to anything.
And there was another guy just caught in Butler, Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's associated with anything, but I can't remember what the story was, but it was just recently, over like the last few days. Somebody caught making threats, I guess, to the president or something from Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah. I mean, what are the odds? This little small town. Like,
yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that, but now there's a difference between that and then where stuff starts disappearing. They just start scrubbing it, and that's what they had been doing. But we're probably never gonna, in my opinion, I don't think we'll ever see what was on those phones, or
No. I guess not. And even with your skills, there's probably no way for you to even trace that stuff, right? I mean, if something is bleached or gone or just wiped out, is it officially wiped out?
I know the people that were like that have those phones, and when they don't tell me anything, that means that they've found something. But there, I want to say probably like 60% of it's already been wiped for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, especially the names that were involved and stuff like that. Yeah. But
is there, with your skills, and I'm sorry, I don't mean, there's just so much to go over with your skill set and what you know, and people that are on your team. And maybe you can tell us, or maybe you can't. I'll leave this completely up to you. Are you able to track or trace what might be coming next? Is there something that we don't know about that we should know about to watch out for? Besides, I guess, planes dropping from the skies. That's a great one, as I'm flying here in the next week and a half out west. I can't wait for that moment. So, but I mean, what else could be taking place, or what don't we know about?
So the one thing they kind of wanted, and this is something that I had told Texas Patriot not too long ago. I sent them a bunch of like things that they were trying to do. Hold on.
Real quick, just saying goodbye to a listener who has to run. Yep, Aiken, see you on Wednesday, brother. Thank you for joining. All right.
And I didn't miss your comment up earlier.
Yeah, we saw it. I love them.
Okay, so right now, they're wanting this like these wars to keep on going.
Yeah,
and the biggest thing is, so I think Trump's next step after these wars are done is the whole sex trafficking thing. The only downfall is because like everything leads to kind of sex trafficking. And if you see the numbers of sex trafficking he's pulling in these wars is ridiculous. You're talking about trillions already. Like the money is
even more than the war generates for contractors.
And Emily, I wanted to ask you a quick question about that, because I'm glad we're coming back to that. Because I really don't. I think we need to. I would like to go into this a little bit more, because I want to ask you a question, and I'm not asking for names, but if you have some and you can share them, go ahead. But we see this all the time: the trafficking, the borders open. When you open the borders and don't stop anybody from coming in, there was a lot of things we assumed, right? We assumed, one, they were trying to get voters, but two, it seems to me like they were bringing fentanyl in to bring fentanyl in, but also to open up for this sex trafficking. So how many, if you can give me a percentage, if don't worry about it, how many percentage of our congressmen and senators are involved in sex trafficking?
Oh, there's a lot of them. I actually posted some on my wall where like they even were involved like with the hush money stuff. Like they were doing like the sexual assaults on women there.
Yeah.
But they know they've been knowing about the sex trafficking that was going on. They also know that this was like, okay, so during the Bush, like, when Bush was around the CIA, like when he was like the director or whatever, I believe it was multiple people, but like there was a lot of sex trafficking going on through there, like when you start a war, the biggest thing is like, of course, the drugs, which the Taliban, and we all know the Taliban and Al Qaeda and all them are working with the cartels with that. The other part is the arms. Look how many times, like, all these other foreign countries or these terrorist organizations have American made guns. The other thing is what brings it in big time is if you go in and bomb a country and you see all these kids running around because either their parents died or, they're just kind of like, they don't know what to do. They just snag them up. So each kid right now is like worth 25 grand per session is what they call it.
Per session.
So
not just a kid, per session.
Not just a kid. Yeah, per session. So they if they use that kid, I don't know, 20 times in one day, probably.
Jesus Christ.
That's $25,000 like $25,000 each time. It could even be more, but that generates a lot of money. And the military industrial complex.
Are you comfortable in naming any names in Congress that might be not just privy, not just knowledge of it, but who might be deeply involved with it?
There was a comment made here. The names need to be named. People need to be named because this isn't going to stop until people start going to jail.
Yep.
Yeah, the biggest name was Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. That's the reason why Hunter Biden's inside South Africa right now. Like everybody that was on that administration knew what the hell they were doing over in Ukraine.
Partaking in it in a way where they are committing the crime of trafficking, or they're receiving the funding through their channels of trafficking.
Yeah, they that's what's on that damn laptop. Like that's why the laptop's not wanting to be coming out service because yeah, of course he has like whatever Biden did with every government. Yeah, that's the thing. But just imagine if you were the president and your son was participating in this just to keep, because like, I mean, look at the Ukraine biolabs and stuff that was going on there. They needed test subjects, things like that. But there's a lot.
So even test subjects on children or trafficked.
Yeah, usually like they just go after like these NGOs and all these like Halliburton and all these like big government guys that are supposed to be kind of like being okay, you know, we're going to save these kids or whatever. The biggest thing is like snatch as many kids as you can and make as much as money as you can because it's a war zone. Nobody's going to look at for them. And they've been doing that since like Haiti. They even did that with Haiti. You know,
I bet
Hillary Clinton did that shit.
Okay. I was going to say the Clinton Foundation, full of shit.
Yeah, Clinton Foundation.
Obviously, they were involved with that.
Yeah, and then they didn't even want to like do criminal backgrounds on these people. Like they kind of just was like, I feel like they gave the money to these low level sex traffickers, and they kind of like, you know, was like, we're not going to say nothing, you know, but they just wanted to keep quiet on it. But there's a lot of people in Congress that know about this shit, and they never, until this day, they know about it, and they just don't even say anything. I know there's a lot of FBI people that, you know, we're trying to combat, but
trying to what? Now, so FBI people were
like,
trying to combat it, or okay,
yeah. So basically, they try to combat, and they just tell them to be quiet because the level of disruption will
be quiet,
like,
or will harm your family, or be quiet and here's $2 million.
I think you know, when you talk about sex trafficking, it goes back. In my opinion, this is my opinion, with a lot of other people's opinion, but so the Bush family was the masterminds of that, in my opinion.
Christ.
Because if you look at it during the CIA, like there was a huge spike of sex trafficking when the Bush was director. Because if you look at how he was, I mean, he was tied to a lot of stuff. That's why I tell y'all to watch the Octopus Murders, because
yeah, I will too.
That is they go in deep, and I'm surprised that film is still up. Like they show actual footage of him, and it when I saw it, when a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, they're going to release it. Are you going to release your article?" I didn't think they were going to release it, so I was like, "Okay, I'm going to keep this," because I like to play in the gray area. As soon as something's released, then I release my stuff. That I am not allowed to speak on. And so sex trafficking was huge back then, and it still is. It's still big, but we didn't
in the 60s.
Nobody really, and nobody knew what was going on or who was doing it, and it was because of these wars that were happening.
I feel
or they would just go in there.
Was going on.
And then same thing with Haiti. I mean, like, look at Haiti. They were supposed to help Haiti, and they didn't. They just funneled that money, and so many women and so many kids were lost. Even and then during the Philippines too, like they showed where like they had a huge earthquake. Well, you know, a lot of people died, but then the number of kids were missing. When they reported that, they were like, "How the fuck? Like, how do like 500,000 plus kids get just missing? You know, like come out."
Which might happen in Nepal after that earthquake now. So we
also heard that when the fires happened in Hawaii. And I haven't heard anything since this. Obviously, they don't talk about it. But remember, Dale, when was it Christine that told us about this? That that what people didn't. There's some people noticed that there's a bunch of people missing, kids, adults. There's just a bunch of people missing, and then they noticed some ships leaving Hawaii. Are you familiar with that, or do you agree with that? Okay?
I was told that there was a bunch of kids that were missing, and which I did do my due diligence, did look at it. Yeah, there was a lot of kids excuse me, a lot of kids, a lot of people, a lot of women,
Mm-hmm.
and there was like some ships off the side, but they didn't like. And then once again, when you see that type of stuff, it leads back every time to the military industrial complex. They're the only ones that can come in and come out. You know, they're the only ones.
Well, it makes sense why we haven't heard anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
No, and we're not going to hear anything. Like, we're probably the same thing with like the whole California fires. I mean, like,
yes,
look what they were doing. Like that was pretty cool. That was like, I mean, look how much. We'll get back to it, but like, just imagine how much water they have to use to brine lithium. You know?
Yes,
yeah.
Go in and do that.
We've looked at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, what do they heavily rely on?
Mm-hmm. Yep, correct.
Like to do their stuff.
Yep.
And but yeah, like this goes back to, I mean, sex trafficking wasn't. Yeah, it happened a lot in the Middle East, but someone took that plan and brought it to the United States and was like, okay, this is how we're going to keep on funding the military industrial complex to keep on getting stronger and stronger.
How do they transport these children?
Now that's where it starts getting out there. So everybody's seen these drones in the air and stuff like that, right? Like they're the size of school buses, and some they say that they're size of like mini cars or whatever, and that is very much true. But when I was in Jersey, and also when I got to see them over in DC area, these cars were the size of like, I mean, not cars, whatever that was in the sky, like the drones. And I know how to fly drones. I have some good research on drones. This is not a drone that we have. This was a drone that was probably, I want to say, the biggest one that I've seen that was above that I knew that was not. I mean, you can tell, like, it's weird because, you know, if you've been around in my field, like, you can see a bunch of crap that pops up every now and then. But this one was actually like, it was just a square. It was just kind of like it was a square with it was a different type of metal, but it was just hovering over. And so if you
like
want
the size of a school bus or something, right? I mean, it's like
probably a little bigger than that. If you wanted to put like probably 80 people in there, you could.
Jesus.
So, I mean, like in big sites, like there was like in the Philippines, they were showing where they said that there was crafts that were leaving with a bunch of people, like kids were on it. They were just kind of boarding kids on there and they were taking off. That's crazy. I know it's out there, but you can do you can do your research and you can see it, how in the Philippines back in the day, they had that. Same thing with Hawaii. They had the ships. A lot of these too, like in the United for Ukraine is who I usually like. I've been going after lately, just because like there's so much sex trafficking going through that organization. Yeah, and a lot of it, they're just snatching them up during like the war zones. They'll just go up and snatch them,
and then just transport them.
They just take them.
Jim,
we have a
question from Buck, a listener. Yeah,
what do you think the reason behind all this senator corruption is for? Money, power? I mean, is that really what it
boils down to?
Is that what it boils down to?
Yeah. So basically, like, like that would boil down to like just money and power. The other thing is just technology. They want to keep on advancing. Like the next step that they want to do is like merge, us with robots. Basically, that's what their end goal was. I'll send you all the breakdown that I have of, from what their objective is till what their end goal is. And
which we can post. Are you good with us posting it on our X page?
Yeah, you can post it. I'll send it to you, and then you can post the whole.
Yeah,
it's like it's a whole plan from start to finish. But like their biggest thing is technology. Like they got AI down. Now they're trying to take over now they're trying to do stuff with our DNA and our consciousness. They like consciousness, like us humans, we have which is called conscience. They don't know, like they're wanting to try to manipulate that. They're trying to crack
which could be a whole nother show.
Yes,
talking about just the AI, which we do want you to come back and talk about for sure. Yeah, because that's incredibly deep, and some of the stuff you've told us already off air is frightening, to say the least.
Yes. And so basically, like this goes down to like, the religion part, and,
Mhm.
show like they basically, the other thing is they want to be able to control, like the one thing they can't do is control Christians. They can't
Mhm.
control someone because like, it's just for some reason, like we're just not, we're not, like when you're a very spiritual person, like you're not able, they're not able to like control you.
Mhm.
You know what's right and what's wrong. And
So, but
I've
there's a lot
always,
of easily controllable or believable people out there. Hence, the kid who in Butler was very
yeah,
easily manipulated, very easily influenced.
yeah. And
That's the type of person they're going after, correct?
yeah, no, they are going after people that they're like weak minded and stuff. But they,
Yeah.
one of the things that I've always said, they medicate, inject, indoctrinate, digitize, confuse, divide, and then they replace creation with simulation. That's what they're trying to do. The
Which
money
makes
that,
sense what's going on right now.
Mhm.
yeah, and they do that with fake propaganda. I mean, like look how they're fueling this war with fake propaganda with AI.
Mhm.
AI just, and if you notice, AI hit the maps really hard when the Palestine war took off. When
Yes.
Israel bombed Palestine the first time, that was fake propaganda.
Mm.
They knew that they had evacuated a lot of people. Like I can't wait till like the actual number of the Palestine war happen. Like once the number comes back, because they're throwing all these like millions of people. And this is gonna sound really bad, but Afghanistan, what we did to Afghanistan,
Mhm.
is like 100 times, I believe, is worse than Palestine. And
Yeah.
that's the Bush and Obama. They
Yeah.
went in and like,
Right.
you're talking about people dying. Like there was bodies everywhere.
Mhm.
Kids missing everywhere. And I want to know the real exact number because like a lot of this shit is fake propaganda. I don't know how many people actually died. Now, when you hide in a hospital,
Mhm.
and you're disguising yourself as civilians and you're in the military,
Yeah.
or you're like the Hamas people that are getting blown up or whatever,
Mhm.
but they're finding them with like lab jackets or whatever, like regular clothes as a civilian.
Mhm.
That's still, you still killed a Hamas person. Yeah, they can use that. I'm saying they can say, oh,
You killed a
like they were
doctor
taught
or
by,
you killed a
Mhm.
patient
yeah,
or
Right.
yeah.
but it's not that like people just need to wake up when it comes to that. That it's not. Those are not doctors. Those are guys that were, and that's been proven. It's been
Yes,
proven by
correct.
ballistics, through everything. But someone had to train those people to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They just don't. And then we knew that the Taliban and Al Qaeda was training people. I mean, they mastered warfare. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing is now they big time, like they really mastered it by using fake propaganda. And someone gave them that fake propaganda.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the only people that had that was the military industrial complex. They had the AI. AI was already being created back in the 40s.
Yeah,
A lot
you
of people
told
don't
us
think
that off air. I didn't know if you wanted it. Yeah, that whole AI
yeah, and
thing
AI,
in the 40s.
yeah. And they even had it. I'm still looking at to see, because there was something that said 1938 on a document that I'm trying to get.
Wow.
And they were showing that they would had already drawn up plans for AI ever since they had the first reverse engineering project.
So
And
are there
they were showing,
are there so then are there UFOs? It's another subject. I get it. I don't want to go. But if they've been
there,
developing AI since 1938, let's say,
yeah,
if that's
I
the
just feel like
furthest
these
back we
things
can
are,
track it.
I feel like these things are like, they're, everybody thinks like, because I wish the whole UFO thing would just change, because like everybody thinks it's like green aliens or
Yeah,
all
yeah,
sorts
yeah.
of weird
That's what
shit,
I'm
and
wondering.
it's not. That's called the military industrial complex.
Okay.
That's
All
not.
right.
That has nothing to do with like, it's because JFK died because of technology. He died
Mhm.
because of the military industrial complex. He didn't die for anything else other than technology and some other stuff. But
Yeah.
it,
Is there Area 51's a real thing?
yeah, all that. I mean, all those were real stuff, but like that's all underground. Like now that they said that there was like another base that was outside California that was underground. That is that's another military industrial complex base.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thinks it's like an alien base. If you can do your research and like look it up, that is the actual, I forgot which one it belonged to, but
Mm-hmm.
the drones were coming from there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how like advanced these guys are. Like they're using AI to help them with everything advanced. But in order to keep, like, if you notice, President Trump kind of gave that, I think it was like what, 500 million or $500 billion on a conference to Chat GPT and another guy. It was an Asian guy, I forgot his name. But it's basically he is showing that he has the money. Because like if we can use AI just like they're using AI, because AI is what's helping them progress. But in order to progress, and you got to put money into that. You know, yeah, and Soros and all them guys like the Rockefellers, they're the ones that who fund them. But still, the money.
Should we stop using Chat GPT or and all that? Is that?
I don't trust the guy that has Chat GPT. You
Okay.
can even look up why Elon Musk doesn't like him. That dude. When you've been around places, you know what rats are, or bootlickers is what we call them, because like they'll sell themselves for like anything. Like, so say if someone offered him the right price, he would sell his data out to whoever it was. And that's just fucking scary, because if he wanted to, he can work with the military industrial complex to keep on advancing. And the biggest war right now, because once this is done, like once these wars are done, the military industrial complex doesn't get funded anymore. So that's why they're pissed off at Trump, because if he stops these two wars, the only thing that is going to have a war, we're going to have a war against, which we more than likely not going to win. So that's why, like, I'm just glad he's president, because like he can negotiate with anyone, which is the military industrial complex. Like once these wars are done, like there's no more money. For one, the sex trafficking is pretty much over. You know, because they'll start combat. But like even then, it's just money and power, and like, you know, having like whoever has the, like, we've been funneling, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like every time we search or something on Google, all that stuff was ran by the military industrial complex. Like they have everything about our history, you know, everything about, now it's going into like how to basically like a Napoleon on steroids, like knowing how to do battle stuff. And a lot of it has to do with like dividing countries. Look at how they divided America so quick, you know. Look how they divide, like, look how like tons of people in the world started going for like pro Hamas, pro Palestine over just one picture, you know, one AI photo. So, I mean, they've already cracked that. So the only one that can disrupt
cracked it and funded it. I mean, when we look at all these pro-Palestine protests and all that, and everyone's like, well, you know, the comment is, well, everybody, you know, these are paid actors. People are getting paid to go that. And then the others, you know, the left will say, well, if they're paid, then why don't you just take the position and go expose them all, you know, when they're being paid? Well, so this is all Soros backed, all backed by the military complex. All these protests, or are these people just that easily influenced that they're just believing what the media and the propaganda is telling them to believe?
Oh yeah. And then the way, like, I mean, a lot of it too is like, if you were if you were a person that was in, I don't know how old anybody is, but if you're like 42 and 43 and above, and you see an AI photo, or if you see like a hospital being bombed, and all of a sudden you see like, they're like, oh, they just bombed a hospital. Yeah. People don't know like how war is, you know, like these guys in the Middle East, like Hamas and like the Islamic Brotherhood, those guys are smart as hell. You know, I hate to say it, but then when you tie it in with like AI images showing all these kids getting died, like, yeah, anybody starts weakening. You got to be strong on that stuff. And you got to like do due diligence, be like, okay, this is AI. This is fake photos. Yeah. It's messed up when you use a kid for your fake propaganda, even though that kid that's in that image is not real. It still messes with people's minds. And that's
it does, because people can't differentiate between what's reality and what isn't anymore, you know?
Yeah. And that's what they want to do. Cause like, if you can bring down a nation without, you know, letting them, like, basically if you want to destroy a nation, that like, you can just throw some fake propaganda in there and then let them eat each other. Basically, that's what they're doing in America. Like, you see it, you know, and they crack that. And the only one that can disrupt that is President Trump and his his administration.
But that's short-lived. That's 4 years. What's going to happen? And it may not even be 4 because we have midterms, and you have, who knows, could be last 2 years of impeachment trials if we don't. And then where does it go from there? Does this all?
I think it's going to
go on.
I sorry to interrupt you. I just think that, I don't know. I have faith because like I have, like there's JD Vance. There's a lot of like people that like are going to be in line, and I think that he's going to be able to do it in these 4 years. I think if we can start waking up and start helping combat this, like that's why I go after like these big accounts and show them as much as I can, because right now Hamas, like the way they're fueling their war, there's no way, like they had to, I know that they've been helped by the military industrial complex, or even like people like that are wanting these wars to happen, because Hamas, like the Islamic Brotherhood, if they would have killed Hamza bin Laden, I feel like they wouldn't have able to do it. It's just, it goes back to like his family being so involved with the Bushes. And we all know how the Bush staged this like 9/11 stuff. So basically they were able to fund, like, I don't know if you saw how I was going after GoFundMe and Stripe, because they were allowing all these like accounts to be like, oh, let's fund the Ministry of Health of Gaza. So basically they got Americans to fund the war, but like I forgot how many accounts were created, but
under
it's
the
already
guise of
77
helping something else.
Yeah, it's like $77 million they raised off of GoFundMe, and it's still happening because they were able to show fake propaganda and say, hey, send it to like Food for Aid or like all this crazy shit or whatever, but it's all going back to Hamas. So that not only Hamas is getting money from GoFundMe, but they're also getting money from the AI stuff, like that they're, pushing fake propaganda on, and they're getting like these accounts like Jackson Hinkle and Jake Shields and all. And Jake Shields is like a guy that I looked up to when I was a kid, because I started training in the same sport he was when I started when I was 5 years old in my family. And we all looked up to him, but there's photos you can find on the internet where he was going to Israel for many years. He would go over there, party, sleep with the women, drink, have fun or whatever, go and kiss the wall, go pray. And then all of a sudden this war happens. Then he gets paid, gets his, his podcast, because he was going downhill. Everybody knows he was going broke, and he kind of needed some money. And so it wasn't until I started, investigating that, where Hamas was like, the Islamic Brotherhood was going towards like these big social media people, and they would help or give them as long as they were like spreading fake propaganda, they were getting paid. Sure. So say if Jake Shields or Jackson Hinkle has, I don't know, like over 400,000 subscribers, they would get those subscribers to donate to the Ministry of Health of Gaza, and then they would get a small kickback or a big kickback depending on how much the donation was. And that's what's been going on right now. And a lot of people don't see that, but like Jackson Hinkle got that plan, and he was the puppeteer of this whole thing. And where is he at now? He's not even in the country. They've been keeping eyes on him for a while, but he can't even get back in the country, or else he's getting it indicted.
He's still all over X though.
Yeah, he's all over X. But if you notice, like Elon took away a lot of their blue check marks, and like social media, like Facebook, Instagram started taking their stuff down, and then YouTube. And then I really started diving in on them, because I was wondering how they're getting all these fundings from every place. They're even getting funding from LGBTQ community. Like they're like all these organizations that are here, they're funding this war. And the biggest thing is fake propaganda. Until we cut fake propaganda, that we have to cut that first. We got to cut the fake propaganda. We got to start showing more AI images where they've been using these AI images. Correct. Holding these accounts like GoFundMe and Stripe or Ko-Fi accountable, and be like, hey, Ministry of Health of Gaza, y'all, and then that's where they're playing in the gray area too, is because like a lot of these guys, a lot of these social media people won't go to jail because, excuse me, sorry, didn't mean to burp like that, but they won't go to jail because they're donating to an organization saying they're helping with Palestine. But
Correct.
in recent times, we just found
plausible deniability, basically.
Yeah,
on
and
their
so
side.
there you go. But the good thing is when we come in along, when we get the green light, we can go in and be like, hey, they knew this whole time Ministry Health at Gaza was ran by Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time it's been run by Hamas. And they know that. But
Mm-hmm.
the only way we can do that legally is if we get the green light and we can go in and penetrate and do what we need to do.
Who needs
and
to
be
give
like,
you the green light to do that?
The government,
Okay.
the FBI,
Yeah.
Homeland Security, things like that. Because I'm not part of the agency anymore. We're just contractors, but I don't understand why they don't want to delegate. So
I
this
don't
is
either.
like
I do.
the FBI. We have a powerhouse of a team. We have a
Mhm.
powerhouse of a team, and they need to start delegating the stuff.
And that's what we're all waiting for, is for these
Yeah.
things to be exposed and people to go to prison and be held accountable for it. And will that happen with this administration? Do you fully believe that it will happen?
I think right now, like their main concern was getting all like, mass deportation and, kind of, because it is
Understood.
scary with the whole, because like
Yeah.
right now there was millions that went through Eagle Pass, and
Yes.
like Sarah Adams came out not too long ago. I was glad that she
Mhm.
spoke again, because now I can speak. But basically, they don't even know how many terrorists went
Mhm.
through that border.
Yeah.
There could be millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the numbers she threw out was like 29 million people through that border. So just imagine the amount
Well,
of
Jesus
men
Christ.
that-
So, and
You know
not
what
only
I'm
how can we, because I looked at X today, and I look at X every day, obviously. But how do we know what AI stories are and what aren't? Because that's what, Dale and I will talk about a lot of stuff on our podcast, but there's some things we see that I'm not going to talk
We're like,
about.
I'm not so
Like, for
sure about
instance,
that.
today,
Mhm.
there was a thing on right there from someone that says Jasmine Crockett was accepting her grandmother's Social Security since 2013. And obviously that's against the law. She can't do that. And so how do we decipher what is real and what is not?
And that's the thing. That is a good question. Now it's gotten so advanced that I saw an AI image the other day, and I was getting trained on it. The only reason why I know how to decipher it, just because I've always been around it. But this image almost got me. It almost got me. But I always look at depending on say if it's say what you're talking about, Jasmine Crockett. Usually you can Google that, you can look at that. But on a photo, say if I send you a picture and it was a little girl that was that looked real as possible, because Generation 4 just came out, for us, for people, and it's so real that you don't know. You would just have that's where we failed, like the education part, is because we should have been teaching fake propaganda since Bush Senior was the director of CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what's leading to these protests that these leftists are doing right now. And it's the propaganda that's out there, but by saying we're going to take your Social Security away from you, we're taking your Medicaid away from you, and that's not true. And it's just it's really, is there any hope? I mean, is there any hope that this is ever going to get better?
Oh yeah, there is. Because I have faith that they're going to activate every one of us and say, hey, okay, you know what?
Okay.
Because what they need to start delegating, like the biggest thing right now is going after these accounts online.
Mhm.
Everybody sees all these guys that are helping pro Hamas or pro Palestine or pro this,
correct.
pro that, and they're all linked to like some link that's in their bio. If they can start delegating and saying, hey guys, who wants to volunteer? I guarantee I know a lot of like the people that are with me would just, because it doesn't take long to start penetrating and like start, like going after GoFundMe and Stripe to really push their policy, because they don't want their company to be shut down. There's tons of other good GoFundMe campaigns, that they need open. So they would literally, like, if someone could put pressure on them, and I do have hope, because I know Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, they're going to start doing this, but when they do need to start it now before where we can't control it at all. That's what I'm scared of. But I still, we still have 3 more years. But right now that's the scary part is fake propaganda. Like who
Mhm.
like they cracked that code of like how powerful that stuff was. And
Yeah.
I do have faith. I do have hope.
Okay.
Because it's going to get to the point where they're going to have to delegate it. And that's another thing is we just got to keep on pushing. We got to
Yeah.
keep on
And
putting heat
exposing.
on it, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Keep on exposing. And that's what one thing I was going to tell y'all was that here soon y'all are going to see me start posting all the AI images that they used in the war and
Please.
kind of show people that it's fake.
Yep.
Like, look at,
Yeah,
And
but
will you
Mark,
be
how
able to?
many-
Will it be like I'm going to show this picture and I'm going to here's what the real picture is, or this is or how do you
I'm gonna-
prove that?
so I'm going to show basically the AI, like every time I see an AI photo,
Yeah,
I circle what's wrong with that photo, whether
Yes.
the fingers are jacked up or the eyes,
Which
like
they-
the pupils messing. Yeah, I point out the flaws of the photo. Same thing with the video. I'll show who's creating it or whatever, and that's what a lot of us are going to be doing because we can do. I guess playing in the gray area, we can do that. We can start posting it and hoping that the other accounts that follow us or like that are with us, they can start posting it. And that's the only way you can combat on these photos is like fighting fake propaganda with propaganda. Like, basically saying, hey, this photo was used for $27 million and it's a fake photo of a
okay.
woman
Mhm.
or of a kid, in a war zone or whatever.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
So
That would prove it.
That's how and people can start hopefully opening up their eyes. Cause right now, like, they're just pumping out photos. They're pumping out images. They're like the other day, I get into it with these accounts on X because I know a lot of these accounts are using fake, like, profile pictures they found on Google of random Americans, and then they're acting like they're American people. And like they really did master that part of war. Like they're winning in that area.
Yeah.
The only way we can do this is if we can combat it and like us Americans start realizing, hey, like there's just so much funding in this war. It's like that's what's scary part. They're making millions off of fake propaganda. They're making millions off of, or should I say, billions, almost to trillions for the sex trafficking part, which is funding everything.
Yep.
See, that's what helps us because we trust you.
Mm-hmm.
But how many? Isn't there like one of you on the other side too? That's so.
Yeah, no,
so
that's true.
that's why
That's
we
true.
need more people like you and your individuals you work with that help expose this, because we know the other side is doing the same thing, but just the opposite.
Yeah, no, and that's where it comes to like they cracked the AI because like I mean everybody like nowadays like I said, whoever cracked the AI was the one that's going to win. And,
correct.
I mean they sold that AI to the Taliban and Al Qaeda and the Islamic Brotherhood because like if you look at it, they're the ones who used it first.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
and then who else would have given a Middle Eastern, like who?
Correct.
The Middle East is like, if anybody's been over there, like everybody knows there's nothing there in the Middle East. It's all war, people dying, getting trafficked all the time. How in the hell did they develop AI?
Yep, you're right.
Like just think about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had the AI, like we've had it. We've been trying to develop that for the longest time.
Yeah.
They're the ones who had the money to do it. It was all money laundering, like that. Like they were able to. I mean, look at the trillions that the military industrial complex got the day before 9/11.
Correct.
And then the Taliban, they were making what 29 billion or something like that a week that they were sending them.
Yeah.
That they found in USAID.
Correct.
And then the Department of what is it? Department of Defense. I think they said it or. Department of Treasury. I got to look back on that episode, which they're at, but it's still happening. It's like 20 million or something like a week that they're still getting.
Wow.
So of course they're able to pay the military industrial complex for AI to push the AI out.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. And they're going to do that because they.
Yeah. This is insane. Anomaly.
We'll probably have you on every month.
Close to an end here. Can first of all, I want to tell people, please go follow you on X at Recal89, REKAL, Recall 89, but REKAL. in 89. Please go follow him there. That's where he posts a lot of stuff. Follow Texas Patriot, follow us, because we're going to be getting a lot of the stuff from him, which we do. Honestly, it's an honor for us to post that and that you trust us with that. That's an incredible honor for us. But if there's one thing you could leave our listeners with right now, and then of course we want you to come back. So this is not the end. This is just the beginning here for us. What's the one thing you would want everyone to kind of hear you say before we end today's show?
The one thing that I do want to say is that okay, so I'm not racist. I'm not I don't see color. I wasn't raised to see color. I was raised to see human beings. And being in this for the longest time, because I know I was everywhere today. I was kind of nervous and trying to like.
Oh no, not at all. No, there's a lot.
When we have you on the next time, we'll give you an outline of what we want to talk about. So that helps you.
Yeah.
So
today was more just like
we were taking you away
here. Yeah,
you would mention something, and then we went down that rabbit hole. And you mentioned
our ADHD, quite like yours, anomaly, leads us down other paths, all the time.
So that's mostly our fault there.
This is typical of the listeners. They're used to that with me and Jim, so you're good. But what's the one thing you want to say? Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. So the biggest thing is what I want to tell y'all is the okay. So actually, there's a couple of things. I'll touch on them real quick. So one, the whole UFO thing is not what you think at all.
Okay.
Those things that you're seeing in the air, those things that you're seeing that are floating or like they're drones, that's the military industrial complex.
Okay.
And anybody can do their research on that. The other part is this sex trafficking stuff is happening because these wars are going on. And the only way you can fuel an army or a war is if you have a lot of money, and the only way you can get a lot of money now is if you sell a kid. The drugs and stuff like that, it's a hit. Like, drugs can, can I say it? Like, if you get a kid, you can use him or her, I don't know, 20, times. 30, multiple times in one day if you wanted to.
Drugs,
you can only use it one time, right? So most of the time the drugs are done, you got to make them again. Kids are not like that. You can just keep on just using them. The biggest thing with that is just like in order for these wars to stop, we got to get the fake propaganda out of here. So like if you see fake propaganda on there, repost it and be like, this is fake. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be posting a bunch of stuff. But what I'm trying to say is if you're a Christian and like, you believe in, even if you're not a Christian, if you're just a good human, y'all know this is not real. Like, y'all, this is wrong for how the government is allowing like GoFundMe, Stripe,
correct,
Ko-Fi,
you're right.
All these American companies, these Paylinks, even PayPal's doing it. It's darn well it's wrong, and it's against the law. It's against their policy as well to take in fake propaganda. Like so, basically. And like there's a big campaign for Ministry of Health of Gaza or whatever. That's the most fakest one I've ever seen. It irritates me to the core because their strategy is, I'm going to post a photo of like 20 meals and say, we need to feed the Palestinian people. And they're not even feeding them. If you look at the Hamas people, they're dressed up. They have their military stuff, crisp as can be, but they also look at their technology they have around their neck. One of those cameras that I pinpointed was a Sony A7 IV, which is $4,000 just for the body. Jesus. The lens that he had on there was a nifty 50 is what we call them. They're 50 millimeters, 1.4. Check the price on those lenses. They're all $3,000 and above.
Jesus.
Why the fuck do they have photos or cameras? And these kids, supposedly these kids and all these people are not eating. The other thing is, when I did my due diligence to see if they were really not getting fed or they didn't have clothing, why in the hell do they have a bunch of American Eagle pants on? Like, just look at it. Like, those are photos that are online. It's like, I'm not saying that all Palestinian people are doing or wearing that or whatever, but they're a lot of like they are getting fed. They are getting food. They are getting they have shelter. If they didn't have electricity, then how in the hell are they posting? How are they still
Correct.
posting on X?
Yeah, they have
A lot of
Wi-Fi.
these are
They have
just
everything.
comments.
I mean,
Yeah, and a lot of it too is like, I think Starlink was over there. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
That
Yeah.
which was weird. Like in a lot of countries, like Starlink's available when a war happens.
Yep.
That's why like a lot of people are giving Elon Musk like some shit, but he's put Starlink everywhere, like everywhere. And it can't be touched because it's not on the grid. It's a
Correct.
satellite.
Yep.
You know, and
Jeez.
the other thing is I just want people to realize, like, if y'all really want to see numbers, like if y'all really want to see like a genocide, go over and look at the Ukrainian people.
Yeah.
Like nobody's talked about Ukrainian, and like you should see the amount of devastation in the Ukraine of what Putin did. Just
right.
now.
And then
you think Palestine is Palestine's a hellhole? No, you haven't seen shit. Like,
right. And then
people, sorry, I'm cussing, but
it's okay.
No, you're allowed. No, there's no.
And not that they're great people, because we know Russia's soldiers did some bad things, but I mean, look at they just send these soldiers in to die, and they just replace them, and so while other people are getting wealthy, and they just keep it going, and we got to stop it. It's got to be stopped.
It does.
And then what? And where do you ever see any type of fake propaganda coming from the Ukraine war? Any propaganda have y'all seen? Ukraine.
I wouldn't know if I was seeing it. Obviously,
yeah. I mean, buildings.
What I'm saying is like
buildings being destroyed. You're talking about that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're like so invested with the Hamas and Palestine. Oh, like they're saying like Palestine has all these numbers that they, because like you know how like the coverage on the Palestine war is bigger than the Ukraine war.
Yeah.
Like, have y'all noticed that?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
yeah, they haven't really pushed anything for that. So, sex traffickers, it's like Disney World to them there in Ukraine. You know how many there's so many people who are missing in Ukraine. And it's insane because they're over here trying to fund Palestine when they haven't done nothing to help with Ukraine. I'm talking about, like, if you look at the photos, the videos, that's not fake propaganda. That's actual people going in and saying, oh shit, you know, like this is where the real war zone's at. You know what I'm saying? Over there, like, I don't mess with, like, once I see a country that is doing fake propaganda and lying about stuff, it's like really hard to even keep an eye over there. Like, you kind of want to shift focus to where the real war is happening, and or like the real, like real numbers are happening, which is in Ukraine. And I'm not saying like I'm not for war. I'm not for I'm not for Zelensky. Zelensky's a piece of shit in my opinion. It is true about the cocaine habits he has. Yeah. And you know, he didn't do anything for them people. But I just kind of want the only way we can stop any of this stuff is the fake propaganda needs to be cut, because that's the only thing right now that's fueling these wars. Yeah. Like if we can cut the fuel off of something, I would tell your listeners to please start just like not listening to fake propaganda. And if it is about Palestine, make sure it's coming from the right source, because there's only few sources that are real right now. Like those reporters that were supposedly died that America or Israel hit. No, they're still alive. We all know that. That was just part of the fake propaganda stuff, was to say, oh, my journalists are dead. Okay, well, your journalist wasn't near the bomb the rocket that hit that hospital. Sorry, he was seen on the other side. Yeah. So it's just like a lot of fake propaganda is being used, and I just
it's working here in the US.
Yep. Yeah, and then the other thing is, like, if GoFundMe or PayPal or, like, you know, Stripe would literally just post and say, hey, I need a bunch of volunteers to start shutting these accounts down, I guarantee it. Like, they'll have enough volunteers. You know how much
money GoFundMe's getting every time somebody donates? You know?
Yeah, they get a lot of money. And so that's why, like, in order for, like, because there's protocols that need to happen. So, like, in order for, like, if Pam Bondi and Kash Patel was like, hey, guys, I give y'all the green light. Y'all don't have to have a warrant. Go and penetrate. Go see what's going on. Yeah. I guarantee it, in one day, we would shut all the campaigns down.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes.
There's campaigns that have, these campaigns are using fake AI images. Of course. And then they're using a fake profile pic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that's just right there is just all scamming.
And the Gullible left is falling for every bit of it.
Wow, Anomaly, we've got to run. I apologize. This has been an incredible quick, almost 2 hours, honestly. Honestly, I mean, we haven't scratched the surface, and we want to just thank you for the work you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
We want you to be safe out there, because that's the important part. But also, whatever you can, want or feel comfortable throwing our way, and whenever you feel comfortable coming back on, we'd love to have you, because there's so much more we need to talk about. Again, you also have a podcast as well, right? You and Texas Patriot. You just did one with Patriot Queen too, did you not?
Ciphered Perspective. Yeah,
Ciphered Perspective. You can find it. You guys, are you doing them on Saturdays?
We're going to be doing them throughout the day, through a week. We're trying to get like a schedule down. And we got Queen Patriot, which I want her on y'all's show to talk about this.
Yeah, we do too. We do too.
That way people can be informed and your listeners can see how crazy this religion is. But we're supposed to be trying to do them on Saturdays, but I think we're going to start doing it. Like, I know that Texas Patriots wants to do a show like in the 5 a.m. I believe. He wants to do an early morning show, and then I'll be going on there this week just to be kind of posting different podcasts that I missed out that people need to be listening to, like, getting information like that. Cause there's only a few outlets that I mess with now. And I'm going to start recording that as well. But we're going to try to do it every day.
Yep. Dude, somebody had, just real quick, I know I'm letting you go, but somebody had a question here. I want to make sure I post it. It puts live and let live. Thank you.
Dems will win. Dems will win every time.
You think so? Serious question. Given the failures of rhinos to make significant progress, what would the ramifications for MAGA to change party affiliation to independent? Listen.
You're taking a lot of votes away. I just
taking a lot of votes away. You can't do that
every time.
You can't do that.
It's more important for the Dems to break away first.
What I've learned here from you, Anomaly, is I don't think this is strictly D and an R issue. I mean, it's not one or the other. It's a combined. It's a uniparty issue to me. And so I think MAGA's its own party. Honestly, I don't think there's any way to change that. But a couple more things real quick. It says here, great interview, and yes, please come back. Thank you so much, Anomaly. Yes, please come back. We'd love to have you back whenever you can. You just let us know. It's an open invite.
Especially if you have something that pops up and you say, hey guys, I think something would be important to share with, even if it's for 25 minutes, we can.
It doesn't even matter. You got something you want to share. We're here for you. So, brother, thank you again for coming on. We're going to remove you from the stage and just end the show here ourselves, but please do come back. And again, whatever you can share with us, please do. We're happy to share it on ours.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Sorry, I was out.
Listen,
do not apologize. It was
not
very
apologize.
informative.
There's a lot to unpack, and we're trying to do it all. And it was incredibly informative. You may not think so, but let me tell you, it was.
Yes, it was. Great job.
Yeah, great job. We appreciate you. Glad to know you. Glad to call you a friend now. Honestly, and we'll have you back shortly. Okay.
All right. Thanks again. Thank y'all, guys.
Oh, thank you. Our honor. All right, Jim. Let's folks, listen, we appreciate everything. If we didn't get to questions or get to some of the comments, we really apologize. There's so much to unpack there. He is so full of information. And yes, is it easy to be skeptical on it? Of course it is, because you don't want to believe some of it. Because we don't think that way, right?
Well, how many of us
don't think that way?
How many of us voted for President Bush and defended him when all of this came in? Because I was one. I'll admit it. I was one, and I can tell you right now, I am convinced 100%, even before Anomaly came on, that Bush is part of the problem. The family is part of the problem.
We knew that. The whole 9/11 thing, there's a lot of speculation and a lot of questions about it. It's interesting about the whole being able to control aircraft. Of course, how many people thought that cloud seeding and that was fake? It's just hell, for all I know, the earth could be flat. I don't know. What am I to believe anymore?
Well,
so again, I'm just saying,
remember when President Biden first came in? There was a lot of incidents with FAA. there were a lot of train derailments all over. And it now makes you wonder, because it is kind of weird how all of this happens the way that it happens. And I never thought in a million years that, there's got to be something going on. Now it's possible.
Who knows?
Well, we're waiting for them to get in line.
Rhinos to get in line.
Vote them out.
Vote them out.
That's the only way to do it. Vote them out.
Primary them. You got to vote them out. This right here, Tarna, enemies of the country come in all shapes and sizes. They sure do. Buckeye, D's and R's mean nothing. They're all the same, wolves in sheep clothing. 100%. And Priscilla, hey, good morning. Good morning to you too. Go back, listen to the show if you were not. So you're going to learn a lot. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you all for joining. Jim, thank you as well.
Yep.
We've spent, just some background a little bit. We spent a couple, maybe 4 to 4 hours total on the phone with Anomaly prior to this appearance, as a matter of fact. And you guys may have heard at the beginning of the show, he got into it when he was 13. There's a whole story there, and we'll let him tell it if he needs to, because it's an incredible story. And then something, really that drove him into this. That's up to him to tell, not for us to tell.
And this goes to show that, just to let everybody know that's watching, there's a lot of stories we don't talk about right away, because we just can't confirm it, and we do not want to be one of those shows that just throws shit out there, and nobody, nobody, and then it makes us look bad. It makes us.
It makes us look like we're the ones that are
right. So we did vet him, and again, it's the reason I like what people like him do is he tells you to go. He doesn't just say, take my word for it.
Do it.
Go look. He'll give us those places to go look and find it.
Now, let me tell you what,
from there.
He's got systems in place that are
true.
I mean, I barely can get Wi-Fi. So
he knows if somebody's trying to get into him.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's happening there. I mean,
they could be watching us right now and I'd have no idea.
One of a handful, and I say handful in the generation, such a small percentage of white hat hackers out there that are doing the good work. And he's got a team around him, which we cannot name, but we know who they are.
And I want to get more on this sex trafficking thing, because I want more names than just Joe and Hunter.
Of course.
I mean, we know there's I think
McConnell's I do too. I know.
I wouldn't be surprised if Schumer wasn't a part of it. And I, not that they are, I'm just saying I'm
allegedly,
I believe that they are, because they just don't, no one talks about it. The ones who don't talk about it are involved one way or the other.
I agree.
Directly or indirectly.
You're complicit.
Right?
So thank you all for listening. Jim, thank you again. Thank you again, Anomaly, for coming on. This was an incredible couple hours. We can't wait to have him back. Literally, what did you say there? Go on, post it.
Maybe we can hook you up. Maybe he can hook you up with some good Wi-Fi.
I mean, okay. No, he could hack into mine, because anybody can. It's so shitty.
That's
can't
good.
fix it.
That's good.
So, anyways, thank you all again for listening, Jim. Thank you for your participation. Go follow him again at REKAL89. Also go follow Al. I think Buckeye put up their Al's and Tech Patriots. They're all together, and they do their podcast, Ciphered Perspective, it's called. You can look it up on X. Right now, that's the platform they go to only. I will miss Max Headroom. I haven't had, today was a good day, wasn't it?
Yes, it was actually.
Today was a good day. I don't know what's
really
going on.
Day.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm sure once they get, a hold of
just
this,
look at the bright side. You're going to see him in a couple weeks.
Who?
Crazy Southpaw.
Couple weeks.
Oh, a couple months.
Yeah, couple months. Yeah, I can hardly wait. I'm with bated breath that I can hardly wait. No, I look forward to it. I will have a bourbon and Sprite with him.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yep, that's what'll happen. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Follow us at 2 Guys 1 Coup on X. Follow at the Patriots Prayer on Rumble. Follow at the Patriots Pray on X, if you will. Really do appreciate all your support. Honestly, can't tell you how much we thank you for that. And we will be back here Wednesday, both Jim and I. What is happening Wednesday? No interview currently, right?
Right. Not that we know of.
Between now and then happens. And if we have some breaking news or somebody that needs, who knows what'll happen here with this? Right. Maybe he'll be back on. Maybe we'll get some other people on that'll fuel this. Share our podcast and share our X page with everyone, please. That's important, and like it. That's how we get the word out there and get the truth out there, and that's how we stop all this crap.
Right.
Jim, anything else to add before we get out of here today?
Nope.
Thank you, folks. We appreciate it, and we'll see you all Wednesday morning. Jim.
Yeah.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye.
See you.